Do you even lift, bro? Do you even lift? Bonjour, j'ai mon père Operation 4. Just got done doing coyote hunt. We'll call that night operations. How about that? But we're out here and we're going to talk about this SPR build and kind of the uses of it. Now, I've already did an overview of it. The only thing that I have changed since then, I still have not got an RMR on top, and excuse me, I did put the SOP mod back on it. The PRS, even though it was the PRS light model, it was still too heavy to be trudged around in these backwoods of Appalachia. I mean, I actually fell and killed my ankle pretty bad because the weight and everything. I mean, it was so heavy on the end of this thing. And even though if you're on the flat range or doing a static hunt or something and you're not stalking, probably wouldn't be that bad. Trudging and trying to get into a sniper hide with it is just, it's not worth it. Something light, maneuverable, that kind of gives you a decent cheek rest. I mean, honestly, this B5 system, it's SOP mod 5 or something. I mean, it just good ass cheek weld. So yeah, still rocking the bipod on there. Everything is the same. So this isn't really the build. This is the second part to the video. This is essentially how to use it and how it complements the Appalachian Sniper System. Now, if you haven't seen this, this is a 308 AR-10 semi-automatic capability. It's based off the M110. It's based off the M110 sniper system that the Army uses. It's effective all the way to 600 meters. Damn, that red light, man. I'm trying to show you the camo job on it. But this M110 16-inch barrel 308 sniper system is inherently effective all the way out to supposedly 600 meters. Now, with Appalachian engagement and how dense this forest is, we will be working within typically 300 meters, 400 meters maxed out, absolutely maxed. So we don't really have to worry about that. So I built this whole system, the Appalachian Sniper System, from the ground up. We have went over all the videos of the actual sniper, and this is what the spotter would use. This is the support weapon, SPR, special purpose rifle. Quick overview, it's an AR-15, chambered 5.56, 20-inch barrel. Maximize that velocity and accuracy. 2-to-10 medium powered variable optic. It's a 2-to-10. You get a 1-to-10 if you want, but I'm gonna run a 2-to-10 and then a RMR on top. Essentially, this assists and this kind of negates having a 2-to-10 power. It kind of negates if you really need to be quick with the mission, not setting up a spotting scope in the hide site. And negating that is actually, I mean, that is a, like, pounds you are saving. That is pounds that you are saving. Okay, that's not bad when you're hiking around these hills with this optic. Now we're gonna do a second version of this sniper and spotter. Just so you know, I'm working on another concept for people that are a little bit more stubborn and want to run a bolt action as a sniper. And the spotter's weapon would be a complete inverse of this, but we still have semi-auto capability. You can still put a 30, 45. You could still put a 60 round drum in this and let her eat. It's lightweight enough, even with the government 20-inch barrel, that you can get in position fairly quick, fairly easy. It's not taking a ton out of you, you know. You come out anything that you come out of light, whatever you want on it. But night vision, if you want to run night vision setup, you can do that. Put a thermal on it if you guys are running night operations. So I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. What this really allows you to do is get fast follow-up shots and to assist the sniper not only make PID, but also if you need cover fire, or if he needs cover fire, let's say he makes a shot and he misses, and they instantly hone in on your location. Well, if you've seen the sniper's sidearm, it's essentially a Glock with essentially just a Glock or a PDW type build. You're not going to be able to engage those targets effectively at 200 plus meters with that. So this allows you to lay down some hate, lay down some fire. Now the actual kit, we will get into the kit in the next video coming up. However, this will allow you to shoot fast and shoot accurate. And that's what you need in that situation. Now this could also technically be the sniper's weapon, and I did get a comment about that, and I made a whole video discussing why I don't think this would be a good sniper for the Appalachian region. That is simply because of all the brush and stuff. I've had 5.56 while shooting. I mean, no parallax, no nothing, good position, whatever. Pull the trigger, bang, and then the bullet will actually end up going 20 foot right or left because it hits an itty bitty twig or a really thick piece of grass or something about 10 foot away in front of you, and then it'll just deflect that much. It's a really small bullet and it goes really fast, which is typically good for sniper operations. However, it can deflect really easy. So if you have a big open area, yes, you could use this as a sniper, and you know, maybe if the spotter is in a more advantageous position in the hide or in maybe a separate hide close by, where you can still utilize hand signals and be quiet, he could make the shot for the high value target or whatever you're doing. However, being the 5.56, as we've discussed with the Appalachian, the sniper 308 has more power. We're using heavier grain bullets with that to penetrate engine blocks and take out armored vehicles and stuff like that. Now obviously it's going to be hard taking out a tank, but as for regular pickup trucks and stuff, 308 will eat an engine block. Don't worry about that in a couple shots. This, while you can, even, you know, depending on what kind of rounds you're using, armor piercing, if you get your hands on it, whatever, the bullet is still so lightweight that you're playing with fire there. That's what the 308's there for. This is just completely support. It's where you can carry more ammo. You can lay down more fire, like covering fire, suppressive fire, fire under movement. This is essentially to engage and hold the fight while the sniper is making shots on the more important targets, the VIPs, and not even just persons, but ammo caches, explosives and stuff they have at the fob. Let's say you're attacking a fob and you get on a ridge line and you have clear sight to the fob. You could do a lot more damage with that 308 hammering rounds down range, while this is drawing fire. So essentially what that means is if you got your sniper 10 foot to the left of you and he's behind a big tree trunk or whatever, well, you don't typically want to do that. You're silhouetting there. Let's say he's behind a big rock, a big boulder on this side, and then the cliff goes down and then the ridge, and you're shooting into that valley. Let's say there are fobs in that valley, and this is all hypothetical. We're not talking about anything domestic here. This is hypothetical. You know, if Russians invade, Red Dawn happen, you know, per-Russia, whatever, new country, aliens, whatever. This has nothing to do with nothing domestic. I don't do domestic stuff. This whole concept is to keep away foreign invaders. I want to make that clear here. Let's say that you are essentially, they got a tank commander and a battalion of tanks down there, and you catch him right as soon as he's up doing his speech, and you boom, and then you start shooting all the gas cans and stuff with a 308. This essentially from another position, 10-20 foot away, not out in the open but still behind cover, you can start cranking out more rounds down range just to keep them busy. They start targeting the sniper and you see them, you know, trying to look for him. We'll just aim down there, bang, 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 you know. And yes, this is clear, by the way. Bang, 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 bang. And that's what's called drawing fire. Now with the kit, you're gonna see we have at least 11 mags at all times on us, plus, you know, a 29 if you tube ask, a 29 rounder in there. Now I like to run a 10 rounder especially when I get in position to make the shot, because a lot of times 30 rounders, even with the bipod maxed out, it'll kind of get in the way of a good supported position, especially if you're shooting on hillsides and like slopes where it's like 20 degrees. So I'll try to explain this. Even a lot of times you'll be shooting off hills and stuff, and you'll be hugging the hill and you'll be shooting like this. So that mag will just eat into the ground a lot of the times, especially if you're shooting, I'm right-handed, so if I'm shooting on a right upward slope, that mag will just be eating into the ground. It's not pretty. You can't get a good staple position like that. And before anybody says anything, I've done so many FTXs and like field training. That's how it is. You can't get a good flat position every single time you go out in a real life setting, in a field setting. Maybe at the range where you can sit and shoot steel at 1,000 yards, if you're that lucky, if you got a range like that, or 500 yards, you can sit there, get perfectly flat, get a great cheek weld and this and that. But especially if you have the potential of bullets coming back at you, you have to make shots where you can make shots and then get up and sprint and get the hell out of there. That is kind of the whole key concept of this this system that I've made from the ground up. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. This could be utilized as a sniper, but I don't. The 5.56 cartridge is an intermediate cartridge, and the reason I chose a 308 for the actual sniper system is it's got a little bit more bang bang. So hopefully that makes sense. There's not a whole lot to say. If you've seen the other videos in this series, there's not a whole lot to say. You can engage targets well above what we typically would be engaging around these parts. Yeah, I think area target range for a 5.56 or M4 A1 or M16 is like what, 800 meters for a tank size target. I mean, you could definitely make these go longer. You could make these go much longer, but you're limited by the 5.56 cartridge. But it's also a positive because, you know, magazines, accessories, attachments, and the fact that you can get a ton of shots off really quick and draw fire. It's loud and it's proud, and there's definitely some advantages to that. So I know that probably sounds crazy. You're a sniper team, you don't want to be caught, but this assists the sniper. The spotter in a perfect world would never have to shoot. You got to keep that in mind. You roll in, you see the target, whether it's a commander or, you know, it's all Minecraft hypothetical Pavlov VR. Love that game. But, you know, like you see a commander, you see the captain, officer, you see somebody in charge, or a weapon cache, or gas, diesel, something like that. That is what these missions that we've been talking about since the beginning of the Appalachian Sniper System is really for. It's not for going and taking on an entire enemy platoon and trying to hold them at bay. That's why with the kit you're going to see, that'll probably be the next video pumping out in the series, you're going to have 11 mags, or you want to be running as much ammunition as you can carry effectively and still be effective. Especially since the sniper, in this case the way I built it, is using a Glock and or PDW 9mm with as much 9mm ammunition as he can carry, or she, whatever, and he's only got like 40 rounds of 308. The reason he's only has 40 rounds of 308 is because you got like 300 rounds of 5.56 at least, plus whatever you want to put in your assault pack, plus your sustainment. So not just ammo, but, you know, water, purification, stuff like that. That is all something that the spotter carries, as long as the spotting scope. But depending, like I said, depending on how close and where the mission is, you could probably do away with the spotting scope. And you can actually just use the 2-10 or whatever optic you decide. Now I did hit on this in the first section of this, kind of the tabletop parts. This actually has its Monstrum scope. Yeah, I know I'm poor, I know, but this scope works pretty good. This Monstrum scope actually has hash marks for the average silhouette size, the average shoulder length on a human. So essentially what you do, let's say I see a two-legged deer, right? Evil two-legged deer just killed my best friend. He's shooting at me. pull up, line the hash marks with the shoulders, and pull the trigger. It's that simple. Not only that, if you do have an odd zero, let's say you zero at, instead of 25 meters or 100 meters, you zero at like 36 or just something odd, it'll still tell you the distance. And then as long as you know your holdovers with your grain weight, it'll still tell you the distance. You'll still be able to make hits on target, even though they're not exactly like lined up. So yeah, I'm gonna try to push this one out quick. I do apologize for that red light. I thought it looked a lot cooler than what it was. That's what I use for night ops and stuff when I'm not running night vision. But I'm about to get out of here anyways. Like I said, I was coyote hunting, then it got dark, and we're legally allowed to coyote hunt at night here, but it's supposed to also storm in a minute. So I'm about to bounce out of here. But just know guys, I really do put this stuff to the test. You know, this isn't just book smarts and stuff. I really do. I'm out here, I test this stuff once or twice a week. I got a full-time job, and my wife does too, and we got kids, so it's hard, but I get out here and I do train. So don't think I'm not about it or anything. I get out here and I train day or night, and I worked for it. Like I said, I built this system up from nothing. I wanted to completely re-innovate sniping as a whole, and then redefine it for the Appalachian region. And when I say Appalachian region, anything that's mountainous and forested, even sections of Montana, they do have bigger mountains than us. But I've been to Montana. There's a couple sections to where even with the forest, you can't really see mountain to mountain. This kind of stuff still applies. Anywhere that's like really dense forest, and then there might be an open field here or there, or maybe you shoot to the next ridge line or hill here and there. That all comes back to what I've built. So I know it's the Appalachian Sniper System, but even in like jungles, heck, you go to Vietnam for some reason and you're fighting again, whatever, we go back or whatever, the soldiers could use this information and could use these techniques. That's just kind of an overview of the SPR. This series is going to go on. This is kind of my shtick. I don't want to do anything else. I do have a shotgun concept coming up, kit and stuff I'm building out, but keep in mind, I'm not really a gun tuber. I don't have a lot of money to be throwing around. This is purely for the fun stuff, and the shooting videos I put out is purely to keep myself accountable and show you guys I'm training. I will hardly ever just put something out and just be wasting ammo, because I don't have money for that. I'm a common man. You know, I don't have a lot of money to throw around. But anyways, God bless you guys. Au revoir. Bon week. See you next time on the mountain. Peace. Stay frosty. If you have any questions if you have any questions I didn't cover about the SPR concept, or something that you're not getting, you've watched the other videos, leave a comment. I will either comment or I will make a specific video addressing that. Just try to be respectful, and I'll be respectful. And I mean, it could be anything. It could be, there are no stupid questions when it comes to this. I've probably skipped over a lot of stuff, and that's because I've been studying this for like 2 or 3 years. So to me, some of the basics is just so like rudimentary, and I just know it so well, I'll probably naturally skip over it. So please, if there's anything that you're just not getting, you know, just let me know. If I've said something and it was confusing or something like that, like I said, in any of my videos, but especially the sniper system videos, it's not, you know, just let me know. But peace out.